The hell? Why is my dice flying?
Because it keeps landing outside the table for some reason.
That's because the dice roller is sending it that way.
Yeah, I understand. Alright, Tate, what'd you get?
14.
Alright. Noah, what did Tucson get?
18.
And what did Jade get?
18 as well.
Alright. Everyone is able to eat it. Whether or not you think it tastes great or not is up to you, but everyone can eat it. Balasar is just going to town. He agrees with Avina. This is a job well done. A very odd delicacy for the dessert at the end, but he thinks is good enough that he has 2.
Tucson's more or less alright with everything, preferring bacon, and dessert's interesting, not too pleasing though. More so mash the bread and everything together before eating. And Jade's pretty much doing the same as Balasar, just eating the whole thing.
Avena's shitty cooking has finally been appreciated by characters.
She's getting better, and it makes me so happy that the dice are being consistent.
That's the thing. She's really not getting better, but there's people that can stomach it. Like, she rolls good enough in the relative sense of they're not nat 1s, so they're not things that will make you sick upon eating. They are technically edible, but it's not good.
I hope you all enjoyed. I worked really hard on it.
Anyway, so food is essentially done. Does anyone have anything specific they wanted to do today or for the next couple days? We will skip up to the next week. Unless anyone has anything they wanted to do. Right, like your dice, as an example. But
no, I mean, before we do that, Areem, are you gonna eat?
No, I'm good. I've already had some. Besides, bacon goes well with ration trail mix, so...
Aw. Well, you should store the dessert for later. That thing will keep for a little bit.
Store it where exactly?
Don't know.
I mean, saying this out of character, Perthros is basically a living refrigerator.
Damn you, Tim,
Yeah,
your
you
living
just keep
refrigerator characters.
Hey man, that's a good thing about cold mages in, like, medieval style games.
So, Jade. I could assume, after talking with Balasar, that you brought the bed down? I don't quite remember that, but maybe. Either way, to take it back up at some point.
Balasar looks at Jade and goes, I'll help you. So, eventually they'll get the bed back upstairs. Again, over the course of the week, waiting for your time to go to the city hall, does anyone wish to do anything? Go to any stores, roll the dice, use the wand, exit the city and go punch a tree for wood. Minecraft joke. Nevertheless, What does anyone
We already
wish
did
to
that.
do
Doing
over the
more.
course of
Well,
the week?
You already know what I'm doing. You know my plan, Marcus. I talked to you outside.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
rolling
brought
one.
Arceus back, per lore.
Let's see, we have a week, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of rolling to do.
I will actually be heading to the Dwarven area to see what I can pick up for ores.
Oh, you mind if I go with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Over the course of the whole week, like each day, more or less.
First couple days getting ores, and then after that I will be crafting a thing.
Okay. Jared, what about Zephyr?
I will probably find a local jeweler and see if I can convince him to show me how he forges the rings.
Just honing his forgery skills at this point, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. And then at other times, is he reading his specialty book?
Maybe like every other day.
Okay. Jared, what about... Or not Jared. Lamb, what about Perthros? What does he do over the course of the week?
Outside of doing the wand stuff, he is still just gonna be doing book shit. Trying to decipher language and all that fun stuff, because he only understands like 3 or 4. Or 5.
Okay. Balasar will help him out with his notes and everything as the days go by. Other than the rolling, Tate, what does Avina do?
She's definitely gonna be practicing for the more fancy side of things over at the embassy kind of stuff. You know, practicing wording, etiquette. Probably actually seeing if Ireem has a book on that.
There is not.
Wait, a book on what?
Alright. Then she would have to go to AJ's bookstore.
On how to act fancy, basically.
How to be fancy.
Yeah, that was not part of the book list.
And then, Noah, what about Tucson? What does he do over the course of a week?
He's gonna be studying laws, regulations, and stuff that he's gonna need to know.
All right. In that case, the week goes by. We'll get to you in a minute, Tate, about your rolling.
Okay.
For... I don't know. We'll say for an entire gold piece, she's able to find 2 books on proper etiquette around nobility and royalty, and so that's one book, and the other book is like mannerisms to convince others that you are of nobility and royalty. That one you use because there's some interesting stuff in there, but you can't get the feeling in the back of your head, especially from the title. The person who had written this and then must have rewritten and given it out to places like AJ's may not have been
Nobility.
Yeah, he might have been a con.
So she's gonna have to base it on what she knows, what she kind of...
Well, she's not sure.
Hopefully.
But she's like, it's kind of weird that it says how to act like nobility and not what nobility does. But anyway, so she does get those books, but we'll go back to you in a minute.
Can I name the first book?
Just write it
First
down
book
somewhere.
Okay.
We'll get back to you in a minute. Ireem and Jade go into the Dwarven District. Once they get there, how are they going to look for ores? Are they going to ask to just mine in an area?
Well,
Or are they looking to purchase it from people?
Looking to purchase, however, Marcus, looking at the plans, what exactly did that entail for the ASX sword or whatever the weapon was in it? I don't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah. I mean, is there a sword in specific?
Was there multiple in that?
Yeah. Half of the so the Deus Ex plans, something like say a sword, there was a couple different variants of swords, but then some of those had variants within themselves as well. And then notes that you couldn't understand that might be variants past that point as well. It's kind of like having the idea of a short sword, and then there's things in there about maybe how to make it out of different materials, how to add different, I don't want to use the word attachments, but attachments to it, or how to properly enchant it, as an example. So, in a sense, there could be, like, say, one sword, but really it gives instructions for 10 swords on that one sword. As an example.
Did
So is
any
there
of these
a
weapons have
kind-
particular names assigned to them?
No.
Okay, how about one that is a short sword? And I don't know. Offers blunt, maybe? It's not like a slashing sword, it's more of a blunt sword.
So it's kind of like a sword that never got sharpened.
Yeah.
It's a club.
No, but it's in the shape of a sword lamp.
I'd say a combination of the books that he's acquired, the books from the ruins, and his Deus Ex instructions. He's able to figure out, yeah, how to properly design a blade that doesn't actually slash and really just hits.
One could say a reverse blade.
No, because there's still a sharp part on it.
Yep, a reverse blade.
It would have to be like a double reverse blade, Tay, which just sounds
Rurouni
Actually-
Kenshin-y.
kind of appropriate, but
So yeah, nevertheless, he's able to find it. A way to fold the metal and make it do that.
it's not just that though, like getting the materials for it. If there's anything rare in it, I might have to see about buying it, but if there was other things that are more common that I know I could probably mine, I would see about trying to mine it myself. At
You
least a
could
little
make it
bit.
out of anything. It's nothing unique.
Could I even make it out of a boat, Marcus?
A wooden sword, yeah.
No. Any
You did say I could make
metal.
it out of anything.
Out of any metal. There's something in there. Here, I'll give you this. There's across all of them, and your own logic, you think up of an idea of a sword that a short sword that is blunt, but it still has a sharp part. It's still sharp and everything. It looks like a normal sword. It's just, instead of coming to a fine tip, it kind of squares out. But then you also, across these books, find some kind of weird magical enchantment that would allow the sword to still pass through someone. So it's as if it's cutting them, but it never actually deals slashing, to put it in mechanical terms. It's still bashing. So even though they feel the blade go through them, it still only theoretically leaves a bruise. Kind of like an ethereal blade can go through something, but only injures ethereal. But this isn't for ethereal, this is for material creatures. That makes sense.
Yes, and the material I wish to make it out of, by the way, is mostly going to be iron. However, I would want the blunted spots where I'm actually going to be hitting them with to be made out of mithril.
All right. Iron is easy to come by. Mithril is going to be a bit harder to come by. If you wish to purchase it, you're going to have to shop around. If you want to try and mine it, over the course of the week, probably within the first day, you're informed of how what this crater wasn't initially just a dig site. There was actually a massive meteor comet kind of thing that came down at that point, and lore is supposedly someone stopped it from destroying the whole area and confined it to that one spot. But that's what began the whole mining excavation area that eventually just became what it is now. So what you've learned was that common metals are more towards the top. As you go a bit farther down, you get to precious metals, and as you get a bit farther down, you get to more exotic metals. But those become far and few. There's not a lot of the comet left, or comet and meteor left. But what is there, they do not touch, because for some reason they think it transforms a metal that's near it into the exotic metal. Like, there wasn't any mithril or cobalt here really ever before, but it's just started to sprung up. So
Wait.
they think it's that.
D&D has cobalt?
I don't know. I just pulled it out.
I know it was adamantine, but...
Or adamantine, whatever. So yeah, if he wishes to purchase it, we can go towards that. Otherwise, if he wants to try mining for it, they tell him sure. But it's going to be a bit harder to come by, but it is possible.
You know, if you shop around, I could try on the first few days to try and get some mithril by mining.
Actually doesn't sound like a bad idea. I think perhaps we should do that then.
Split up the tasks, probably wait till the last few days to get the mithril if we can't find any.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Alright, I want Noah for you to roll me a search check. And Kelb, I want you to roll me a search or diplomacy. So Kelb, what did you get?
18 search.
All right. You were on your first bit there, able to find some mithril across a couple different stores. But before I get to you, Noah, what did you get?
17 search.
And Jade is able to find a singular vine of mithril. Not really enough, but at least he's found some, so he knows the miners' tales aren't bullshit. You guys inform each other of this. What are you going to decide? Do both? Only do one?
I mean, I found some, so I have a good idea where to look. How do you do?
I can get some as well. Free is always better.
Yeah. Let's see how much we can get before we head to the shops then.
Yeah, don't really need a whole lot with what I have in mind anyway for it.
You noticed on most of the stores they had like pricing next to the banisters of ore, and mithril goes for about 500 a pound. So you figure you'll need about 2 pounds for the sword, give or take. So you'll probably need about 1,000 gold to buy the mithril you would need, unless they increase the price, or if you were to somehow botch it and need more. So it could be more expensive, or if you somehow convinced people to sell cheaper. So, nevertheless, you guys decide to mine, so you go deep into the caves and start mining. I don't know what a mine check would be, so just roll me a d20, both of you. We'll make it a luck check.
I could see it being strength as well, but I don't know.
Well, for mining, yeah, but I'm gonna say you take 20 on the mining aspect of it. This is the finding it part of it.
So just roll a d20 then.
Yeah. What'd you get, Kel?
15.
What'd you get, Noah?
16.
All right, across the two of you, you are able to spend the whole week and acquire all but about half a pound or so of mithril. You think if you keep at it the last day and get lucky, you might find enough. Otherwise, when we get to the last day, the technical day that you're supposed to go to the city hall, you could just buy it. It's up to you. I know that Areem initially wanted to go with them the first time they went, and they kind of forgot about him. So I don't know if now he's going to just say fuck it and not go, or if he still wants to go. Okay. What about Jade? Is Jade just going to continue with them?
I'm good to keep going.
All right. In that case, Jade and Areem spend, after a week, that 7th day, they'll be able to come back and mine. When we get there, when we pick up that day. Back in time a little bit, Perthros and Balasar are going over notes. What exactly does Perthros want to do? Just continue going over his notes, or?
Well, since Balazar mentioned the thing about the gates, whatever the hell we want to call them right now, he's gonna say fuck that for now until we can figure out what's happening with that origin point. So he might move on to those mysterious doors since we have one readily available in the main guild hall.
So what's he trying to do with that?
Science stuff.
Well, I imagine he's still going through the fuck guild shit, since they had one in there, so they were probably either experimenting with it, so they have something written down, or they already had a whole bunch of shit on it, but they still had a door in there, which means they probably had someone either researching it, or they had people studying how to use it for work purposes. So I'm either going through the research material, or I'm going through some of the like, learning material.
Okay. In that case, does he want Balasar there to help him out?
I mean, if Balasar wants to be there, but it's him at that point.
All right. Every now and then he comes and checks up on Perthros. Otherwise, yeah, he consistently leaves, and you guys have no idea where he goes half the time. He just leaves.
I imagine he's looking for his king.
Maybe.
Or he's going to go join forces with the deer.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll get to Zephyr in a minute. What was Tucson doing again?
Studying pretty much laws and policy.
Gotcha. Yeah, he gets laws and policies of the city, and probably some of the other main cities as well, and he's reading, he's learning. He probably has paper and pen, or parchment and quill or whatever, and he's taking notes, things that he thinks is more important than the other to keep in mind, quick notes for himself, or something that he can give to the rest of the group the day of and be like, listen, remember this. But he's able to handle it. Now, Avina, she eventually, that very first day, goes outside the city and concentrates on her dice. Tate, roll me a concentration. How long is she going to do this? Is she going to spend like a whole day just concentrating on the stuff? Tate?
Probably not the whole day, more like half, but she's gonna... If even that, I'm not too sure. She's mainly just, A, focusing on maybe dice effects, and B, she wants to see if more tails can happen. They're fluffy, they're soft. She likes them. Also, I figured out how to avoid it rolling off. Yes?
Tate, how many hours does she focus on the wand? Or not on the wand, on the bag.
Two or three? I'm not sure.
And how many hours does she spend focusing on the dice that she gets? If she gets the one for body, specifically that one, how long would she focus on it?
One or two? Say two. Also, I figured out how to do the dice roller without it flying away.
Yeah, we're not going to use it.
I know, but I'm just...
Alright, the brown one, you said 3, so roll all 3 of those. The blue ones as the dice, so then you roll both of those. Now, hang on.
Yeah.
Use your D12 and roll that to see which dice she gets.
Alright, cool, 1.
Here she has a thing that changes her gender, but she's got enough that she can alter it. Does she wish to teleport or use disease? Is that how I have it set up? Yeah, I think that's how I had it set up.
Let's do teleport.
Okay. In that case, how long does she focus on that one?
I would say none. Let the dice where they land.
All right, just roll a d6.
Hey! Teleport in a random direction, 5 feet.
She teleports 5 feet in the air and then falls on her butt. No damage, but she has wasted a day. Well, she's wasted 5 hours. 3 hours. Does she wish to go longer in this day? She's got a week, so...
Was these 3 dice only for 1 roll?
Yeah. Each D20
Jesus.
is going to represent an hour of concentration. So she sat out in the forest or wherever for 3 hours, just more or less meditating on the bag.
Alright, we're gonna try it again. 2 hours. At our time. Well, there's nothing else really to do other than prep for the thing, but...
Yep.
I really want the dice stuff. I also want to explore different effects, because you said there's world-changing shit in here, and that's... Avina doesn't know that. I know that, and that's interesting.
So roll it. Congratulations, none at all. Roll your d12 and let's see what you get.
Excuse me? What?
Well, that sucks. Roll a d4.
Why?
Here it is. Right here.
I think the
All right,
game
put it
is
up here.
telling me no. No!
Well, she becomes a dude. A familiar feeling.
Alright, I'm heading
partakes her.
away. I'm done for the day.
All right.
Absolutely done for the day.
Interactions may happen, may not happen. Either way, second day comes about. What is she gonna do?
She's gonna do the same thing.
How many hours?
Except
in all?
she's gonna do 3 sets of 2. Hopefully, maybe. Oh my god. Thank you.
All right, roll your d12. Well, she gets an attack, and she can either go up or down 2 directions. So, disease teleport or attack.
Let's do a D8. 5. She's going up to 5.
Okay. Roll a d8 unless she wants to concentrate on the attack. Nope, she just rolls right away, and that's a...
Yep.
Where'd she throw it?
At a tree.
Alright, she throws the dice at a tree. It hits the tree. The tree becomes covered in some sort of weird green mist and goop, and slowly starts to change colors until it eventually dies from poison. You poisoned a tree to death, you fucking
Contact
monster.
The deer is mad at you too.
Yeah, now there's gonna be a druid added to this anti-party party. A tree nymph. Anyway, go ahead and roll. Hey, you're able to alter it now by 3. Congratulations, you have attack, or you can go attack disease, or race, face, limb. Limb would be the one that she wanted.
Yep.
So how long does she want to concentrate on that dice?
I hate you, dice.
All right, go ahead and roll the d10. She does have enough that she can swap it over to tail and give herself the however
Let's
many fucking tails.
We're going full-fledged kitsune. Because I like that.
9 tails?
Yep.
Alright, I hope you're prepared for her to have difficulties fucking sitting down with 9 goddamn tails.
Yep. It's okay. The dice will be there. just want to go like a day.
All right, the next day comes around. How long does she want to concentrate on trying to undo the male part of the thing?
Oh yeah. About that. Probably need to change that. Huh.
I mean, you don't have to, but that's up to you. Again,
Yeah, I know.
Tate, you have an entire day. You can fucking put like 6 goddamn dice down and make it very, very hard to fuck this up.
That's
How
all
many-
the same. 4
Now,
dice.
how many? 4?
Yes.
Okay, roll your d12. She can go to the gender one. How long is
Yep.
she going to concentrate on the dice? Please go for a long amount of time. It's not like you're having her do really anything else. Okay. Roll the d4. Doesn't really matter. You're able to affect it to anything
Yep.
based on what you roll. So she is able to be what she wants to be. Does she want to go back to
Okay.
female? Does she want to go to both? Does she want to be a hermaphrodite?
No, we're going female. I'm not taking this to odd places. Lamb, I heard you.
What?
No. Nothing.
What?
I heard your mind.
Hey, I have my own shit I'm focusing on right now.
Anyway, is that all then there, Tate? The rest of the
we're
week
going
is...
we're going to practicing in the tale, so it'll be good for balance.
So now the rest of the week is just her practicing being fancy, reading the books about how to be fancy, and learning how to adapt to having a shit ton of tails.
Yes, at least tails are light and fluffy, except when it rains. But it's
Okay.
gonna suck.
So that's what she does the rest of the week. We'll get to you in a minute there, Lamb. Jared?
Take time.
I had to have fun. I had to have fun.
Jared?
Mhm.
He is able to find whatever he needs to find in terms of practicing his forging skills. So if he wants to grab another piece of metal, he is able to find some more metal and continue etching and so forth. But the week goes by as he continues to do that.
I also have a couple of rose quartz that'll probably sell along the way.
Okay. He is able to sell the things that he wanted to sell for the actual D&D price. Along with being able to find someone that knows how to craft jewelry and is willing to teach him how. We'll say it cost you, I don't know, 10 gold a day to have this craftsman teach you his craft. And you're able to at least get the basics down after the week. So 70 gold. Just take that off of how much you made from selling. Unless he wants to give a tip to his mentor. But either way, and we'll say that it was Honest Bob that was teaching him. Why not? He works with metals and whatnot. That's his offhand thing. Making jewelry. Since we don't have a actual jewelry crafter, I don't think.
I'll also probably try and find some masterwork artisan tools.
You're able to find those, yeah. Anyway, though, yeah. So, along with that, across the days, he finally reads enough of his book, or finishes up his book, that where we were last time was he had traveled to the future. He had traveled somewhere, and his friend left adventuring, or stopped adventuring with him, and settled down, and he continued. working for Gnome and Johnson. Well, after the multiple different missions involving retrieval, bodyguarding, hunting, and so forth, eventually Guy 1, who you now know as you, went back to go visit Guy number 2, your friend. And when he gets there, this guy is married and has a very young child, less than a year old. It is a newborn child. After a nice visit, suddenly the town gets attacked. And he runs outside to fight, and his friend comes out by his side and helps him. They fight off a couple of odd creatures, and then they see what brought them. Guy number 3. The person that wishes to destroy the universe, as far as they understand it. In the midst of preparing to fight him, he has some sort of weird machine that looks the same as the one that was used to teleport. And you guys eventually fight him back, but your friend makes a fatal flaw and hits him in a way that makes the guy drop his device and doesn't catch it. The plan was to get it out of his hands, and that succeeded, but the stopping it from falling on the ground and activating did not. There's a flash of light, and you wake up. Town's destroyed. Everyone's dead. You can see your friend laying lifeless on the ground. As walking through, you hear a noise, and lo and behold, his child is still alive. In his memory, decide to take him up and raise him as your own. It's okay, Lamb. Anyway, as the years go by of raising this child, more and more you start to get this inkling until he's around the age of about 5 to 7, and you have a stunning realization that makes you go kind of zoned out for about a day until eventually Gnome and Johnson show up and talk to you. The child that you are raising is you. You were teleported to the past, and you were your own father, which means your best friend that travels with you is your birth father.
I'm my own grandpa.
But you know that your parent never informed you of this, and to avoid what Gnome said was to destroy time itself, you have to do what you remember yourself doing back when you were a child. So, the years go by, and you raise yourself until eventually you know the day that has come. It is the day that you leave and teleport into the past. Upon this happening, you go back to Gnome and Johnson, and they tell you, like, oh, you did a good job. There's just one big flaw. You technically need to go in the past again, because you were there before. The town that your friend birthed you in doesn't exist, technically, unless we send you back and you start it. So you get sent into the past and start up that village, knowing full well everyone that's going to move there will die because you saw it happen, including your friend, your birth father. Well, time happens as it does, and this makes you slowly become a bit more of a bitter old man. But not too bitter, but, enough. But eventually, as time goes by, you're living a quiet life, doing not much, until eventually Gnome comes to you and tells you that he's got a plan. A plan for you to be able to get revenge on guy number 3. But it's going to take longer than your natural life, and with the limited resources they have, they only have one path to do. To put you into a program known as the Warforged program. And, not too long before, seemingly, all this old technology, Magitech, goes away, and the world becomes as it is now, you don't remember much other than being put into some sort of machine, Gnome and Johnson doing something, and blacking out, until eventually waking up inside of the Warforged city, where the book ends, but it gives you back your memories. And he remembers what would have happened was you notice that all the other Warforged seem to be functioning like ants. They're kind of their own entity, but they're all following one purpose. Except you. You have freedom and sentience. And so you left to go find Gnome. So your character is fully back to his mental state. He knows everything he knows. If he has a mental breakdown, he has a mental breakdown, but he has finished his book.
My God.
After finishing the book, he'll probably take like a nap for a couple hours, so actually power down.
Okay. Also, I don't know
Jared,
if this
your
will...
character's messed up.
I don't know if this will alter how you want to play your character in terms of personality, but he now also, again, has all those memories, including but not limited to the knowledge that he raised himself and started a village that he knew was doomed to die.
And became a crotchety old man.
Well, not super crotchety, but enough, As you would when you know you put someone in the grave, technically.
He's done it before. We've all done it before.
Not like that, Tate. Anyway, so when we get to all the party doing everything, then I guess we'll see how your character interacts with everyone now. Swapping over to Perthros. So, with you being the last person, I have to find the thing to finish up with here on this. As he does his research, and he every now and then talks to Balasar before Balasar leaves and wanders the town, he decides to every now and then take his break, either be done for the day or just take a break and come back to it later. And his form and method of doing so is to go out into the woods and use the wand. So, Lamb, let's find out what Perthros does. How many times does he go out and whatnot? How many times are we looking at this list?
So I did 3 things for 5 days. I parsed out all the stuff that was just not really interesting or new. So first day, there's only one thing, and it's on the week table.
What's the ones that he does do? If you already have it, just say what it is. If you don't have it yet, then tell me the roll.
82 on the weak table.
Gotcha. Okay, so he makes a gust of wind attack. What were the other two?
It was, if I remember right, it was stone skin and change gender for an hour?
Gotcha. Okay, so he becomes not stone, but an iron body wielder. So he becomes a metal woman that just shoots out a gust of wind.
Yeah.
So the second day then?
Second day is medium table 24.
All right, what's the other two things then?
Weak table 81 again, so wind gust attack, and teleport to yesterday's location.
All right. He teleports about 5 feet over because he thought he went to the same spot, but turns out he didn't. Shoots out a gust of wind. He goes, oh, that's not really interesting. Come on, one more time. And slams onto the ground. Almost unable to breathe. For the equivalent of a round. So just for a few seconds, but long enough that as he looks around him, he realizes in a 100-foot radius around him, he increased gravity by 5 times.
Welcome to Dragon Ball Z.
No, not 100 times.
For one round.
Yep, so for one round, he took some damage, but it'll be healed by that, the week's done, so... But yeah, he got hurt. Obviously.
Alright. And then the next day was Iron Body again. I think Giga Gnome Slam. It was an 80 on the strong table, which should be Giga Gnome Breaker. Yeah.
80 on the strong?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what else did he get?
Teleport to yesterday.
And what was the third one?
Iron Body.
All right. The third day, he turns into an iron version of himself, teleports a little to the a direction, like barely a couple inches because, yeah, and all of a sudden, this third time when he points it, like you said, it's the Giga Gnome. Suddenly, a gnome appears underneath of a tree. Shuriken, or whatever the fuck it's called, upper punches the tree, knocking it completely out of the fucking ground and popping out of existence. Thus, Giga Gnome punching a tree. Fourth day.
Grow grass, pixie that heals allies, earth to sand.
Okay. He is standing in a very weird spot. There is a lady, a traveling merchant lady that was walking by when all was said and done that he sees. And she's just looking just dumbfounded and confused as fuck as she sees Perthros, barely sees Perthros, standing in a overly grown, yet somehow sand instead of earth area with a fucking pixie floating around him.
Gnomish tech is weird.
She keeps going.
Probably
And
a
the
safe
last-
plan.
You said you only did 5, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the last day.
99 on the strong table, which should be meteor.
Yep.
And then nat 20, which I think we're now just doing the strong table, right?
Right.
Laser barrage with a
Okay.
68. And then 100 on the strong table.
God damn it, Lamb.
Yeah, I know, right? We get to end this off with something actually interesting.
What have you done?
I've destroyed us all. Although, probably I'm just gonna end up killing myself.
Alright, give me a minute to count.
Take time.
Roll me a d20.
Seven.
Roll me a D percentile.
51.
It's okay, Teth.
What's your alignment, Lamb?
Should just be neutral. My PDF is taking forever to scroll. Yes, I'm true neutral.
All right. What were the other ones? Laser barrage and comet barrage. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the 6th day. This is the day before everyone meets up, we'll say, right? So this way we're able to have you interact with everyone, and choices have to be made that day. It's near the end of the day. You first use a laser barrage and pretty much clear out an area. You then point in the same area. Meteor barrage. You've made a crater.
I've definitely cleared out that area.
That area is cleared. You point in the center of that area one more time. The dirt and rocks and everything else, some of the trees and grass, all start pulling into the center and collecting until eventually creating some sort of doorway. A flash of light happens, and you are looking at another very forested area.
So am I seeing that through the doorway?
It looks, as far as you can tell, like an alpine forest that's peaceful and has some a couple of groves of giant mushrooms. Although you can see that there are other climates way out in the distance. But the weird thing is, 1 minute.